unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
or the free iHeartRadio app.
This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello again, gamers. I'm Naomi Kyle, and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week, we're catching up on Nintendo's Indie World Direct. Microsoft cancels another game, and Sony reveals their plans for the future. We've got all this week's gaming news, so let's dive on in. 4 years after its announcement back at E3 2021, Contraband, the co-op open-world heist game being developed by Avalanche Studios, the makers of the Just Cause games, has officially been canceled by Microsoft. Avalanche Studios addressed the bummer news in a statement that reads, "Over the past several years, Avalanche Studios Group and Xbox Game Studios Publishing have collaborated on Contraband. Active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced, and we'll give an update on what's next as soon as we can." After the cancellation of Everwild, Blackbird, and Perfect Dark, Contraband marks the fourth game that Microsoft has canceled this year. It's unclear why Microsoft is cutting so many games in such a short window, or even why they would decide to pull the plug on a game that has spent years in development. I'll be taking a deep dive on this delicate subject with my guest, Gene Park, later in the show, so stick around. We've had back-to-back Nintendo Directs just 7 days apart from each other. Last week's Direct focused on third-party games, and this week focuses on indie titles coming to Nintendo consoles. Indie games hold a very special place in my heart, so here are just a few of my highlights from the Indie Direct. Yacht Club Games, who developed the game Shovel Knight, kicked off the Direct with a trailer for their brand new 8-bit action-adventure title, Mina the Hollower. The demo is available right now and is releasing on Switch 1 and 2 this Halloween, October 31st. Well Dweller, an avian-theme Metroidvania featuring a macabre art style, is scheduled to come out next year. Neverway is a dark RPG accented by the gorgeous pixel art from Celeste's artist Pedro Medeiros. It is also coming out in 2026. Herdling is a unique new title based around shepherding a herd of cattle-like beasts across treacherous terrain. It comes out in just 2 weeks on August 21st. Console gamers will finally get the chance to play the PC co-op horror title, Content Warning. I think this one will pair particularly well with the game chat feature on the Nintendo Switch 2. It comes to consoles in 2026. And rounding out the show was a look at a brand new title called Glaciered. The game takes place 65 million years in the future, where you play as a species of birds that has evolved to live underwater. It will launch as a Switch 2 exclusive later this holiday season. It looks like Sony is taking cues from the Xbox business model and are looking to expand their player base beyond PC and PlayStation consoles. In a Q1 2025 earnings meeting, Sony's Senior Vice President, Sarahiko Hayakawa, had confirmed the change in strategy, saying, "In the gaming business, we're moving away from hardware-centric business to community-based engagement business. As we move to more entertainment creation, the stability and productivity and performance is increasing." Sony's decision to put Helldivers 2 on Xbox consoles marks the beginning of this shift in PlayStation's game plan. PlayStation executives may have realized that they have hit a market cap for PlayStation owners and are deciding that the best way to grow is by inviting in new customers to experience PlayStation exclusives across all platforms. In some uplifting news, the Video Game History Foundation has acquired the rights to one of the earliest video game publications ever, Computer Entertainer. The publication's founder, Marie-Lou Badeau, donated her personal collection of every issue of Computer Entertainer ever printed to the foundation. Now every issue of Computer Entertainer dating back from 1982 all the way to 1990 has been digitalized and made free to the public to read or download on the Video Game History Foundation's website at gamehistory.org. Make sure to check it out.
Quest
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our guest. Gene Park joins us to share his thoughts on yet another Nintendo Direct, the cancellation of Xbox title Contraband, and the end of console-exclusive games.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Gene, welcome back to the show. It's so good to have you.
Always a pleasure to see you, Naomi. Thanks for having me again.
So let's talk about a game that's been canceled. Contraband from Avalanche Studios, very well-known studio, was canceled this week. And I was wondering, first of all, had you heard a lot about the development of this game? And was it a surprise to you when you found out that it got canceled?
I completely forgot that it even existed, which it doesn't exist anymore, basically, right? So
that's right. It's still on the Xbox website, by the way.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it's still there.
Oh, wow. No kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I completely forgot that it existed. It barely registered in my brain when I even saw it. I had to go back to the trailer to even watch what it was. It was a nothing trailer. It was just a panning shot of a weapons room and bullets and contraband. And it's like, okay, we know nothing about the game. It told us nothing about the story or the vibe or the mood other than it will have guns. And lots of video games have guns. So
right.
And it's by Avalanche, right? So and there's a lot of studios named Avalanche, but specifically this is the one that was responsible for the great Just Cause series, it's a series that's been up and down, but overall it's a lot of fun. So it would be something to pay attention to, and it's really disappointing. It's yet another Xbox game. My friend made a joke that says, "Wow, Xbox is just making up games to cancel now, aren't they?"
I know. Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about was because it was announced way back in 2021 at E3. So 4 years it was in development, and then they're just canceling it. What's your opinion at this point? It's become like a trend for a lot of game studios to announce games way prematurely. Is this something that maybe we're seeing more of these games get canceled? Maybe studios will learn their lesson.
Yeah, it seems to be happening a lot. One thing I don't see it happening a lot with is Nintendo, because Nintendo, when they cancel something, they just don't announce it. It feels like that they make announcements only when they're absolutely sure that the game is going to come out. And the only game series that really goes through any kind of trouble is Zelda, which will inevitably come out. That will always happen. But that's been going on since like the 90s. Zelda's always being delayed because there's always some issue that they need to deal with. And it comes out and it ends up being fantastic. A lot of AAA studios in the Western side seem to be doing that quite a bit. Some Japanese studios too. But it feels like a lot of these announcements are made for investors, basically, to showcase like, look, we have a project and they're trying to show social media likes and engagement and pre-orders and like that's a really sucky way to announce product and to create art, to just to get more funding. There has to be a better way than just bringing people's hopes up and then just not delivering at all, And it's very disruptive to everybody, to us in the media, to have to even pay attention to this crap, and of course the workers who have to spend 40 years of their lives to produce nothing. That's tough. To
have nothing to show for, and the big thing in the industry is we shipped a game. Like, to be able to ship a game is such a big milestone, and to not even get there after 4 years of work it must be so disheartening.
Very disheartening. I've worked on a story for a year only for it to not happen, and that broke my heart. Like that just happened recently, and I'm still like getting over the depression of that. So I can't even imagine like 4 years or like 7 years, like for Perfect Dark's. I don't know if Perfect Dark was in development for that long, but Perfect Dark was also being worked on for a long, long time with the initiative, right? And Crystal Dynamics joined on, and for that to be canceled is just very, very disheartening too. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine either. Well, we're going to cut to games out this week, and when we come back, Nintendo Direct, we're breaking it down.
The biggest songs in the world. You've heard them countless times. Now, learn the details of how they came to be. Join Ruby Carr for Encore, the stories behind the songs you love. New interviews and newly unearthed archive footage make for a fascinating weekly deep dive. Stream Encore, the stories behind the songs you love on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Games out this week.
Starting on August 12th, the Fallen City Brawl throws down on all platforms. Echoes of the End journeys onto PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. On August 14th, Ovis Loop launches in early access exclusively on PC. Madden NFL 26 kicks off on PS5, PC, Switch 2, and Xbox Series X and S. Drag X Drive slam dunks exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2. And on August 18th, Horde Lord plows its way onto the PC. The Epic Games Store is offering 2 free games this week, Totally Reliable Delivery Service and Hidden Folks, which will be available for download from August 14th to the 21st.
Quest accepted.
Gene, did you watch the Nintendo Indie Direct? Or I call it the Indie Direct, but it's basically Nintendo's version of just their indie games that are coming out for people to know.
Yeah, I did. I was kind of, it happened so early in the morning. So
Yeah,
it was,
they always are so early in the morning.
I know, they're so early, especially for us East Coast. Well, I guess West Coast is even worse, right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Are you out on the West Coast?
I sure am.
Yeah. See, that's even worse for you guys.
Yeah.
So like my brain was pretty fried, but I paid attention to it a bit because Nintendo, the Switch platform has been a good home for indies in general, even the Switch 1. So it's nice to see them kind of keeping that energy rolling for Switch 2 as well.
That's right. I was able to see that they had a new game from the developers of Shovel Knight, which I love Shovel Knight. They had Mina the Hollower.
Mina the Hollower.
Yeah.
Extremely, extremely cute game.
For Halloween, perfect timing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's going to be great. I'm excited for that one.
It's got the cutest art style. Got the cutest main character, a little mousy, furry type.
And was there anything that stood out to you from the presentation? Or even if there's nothing from that presentation in particular, are there any games you're playing on the Switch 2 right now that has caught your attention?
Well, I'm definitely excited for UFO 50, which I played on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
But that's an excellent title. It was one of my top 10 favorite games of last year. So it's really good to see that too. Some of you might have seen my cat on camera or whatever. If there's video on this, but I am a cat owner, so any cat related game gets me a little excited. Little Kitty, Big City.
Yep. That's a great
looks
one.
really fun. My friend Kat Abu, who's running for Congress in Chicago, so I can't endorse her, but she's been my for a long time friend, and she showed me the game, and we played it for a bit, and it was really cute. So.
Anything you're enjoying or looking forward to playing on the Switch 2 right now? Like just that people should keep on their radar or that just is
obviously
for you, the
Donkey
Switch
Kong
2 game?
Bonanza was huge, right? I played the hell out of that game. There are 1,000 bananas that you can collect, and I collected every single one of them. It was
so you've completed like 100%ed it?
there's nothing left to do in the game other than like
Amazing.
max out like the money counter for no reason because there's nothing left to buy. So
Right.
there's really nothing left for me to do, which is sad. But I played the hell out of the game. I loved it.
Yeah. What's going to be your next Switch 2 game that you're going to be like on top of, you think?
First party wise, I'm very, very excited for Kirby Air Riders.
Okay.
With the return of Masahiro Sakurai to his boy Kirby, his lovely creation. Kirby's one of my favorite characters. I use him as my avatar for a lot of social media accounts.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
That's right. I see your Twitter photo as that.
Yeah, it's Kirby Bayonetta, right? So
Yeah.
he's also my Instagram photo and everywhere else too. So
Kirby's my Smash go-to.
of course, yeah. Well, of course, Sakurai made him the best because that's his boy, So he's always going to treat.
that.
So for him to be back exclusively for Kirby is very, very exciting, and we haven't had Air Rider since the GameCube days. So this is very, very cool.
Yeah. It's a return.
I'm also playing Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which came out about 2 weeks ago. Playing the Nintendo version, which unfortunately runs only in 30 frames per second. So if that's tough. And
tough.
normally that doesn't bother me, but for a fast-moving side-scroller like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, it's a tough pill to swallow. I'm only doing it because it's a Nintendo system.
Yeah.
And I grew up on Ninja Gaiden on Nintendo, so like I have to play it there. But I also bought it on Steam too, just so I can experience the 60 FPS or like smoother frame rate, and it's so much better. So it's like
I'd imagine it's just very floaty. Like there's something off when you're playing at 30 frames.
The problem is that when you're scrolling from left to right, the screen is kind of juddery, you know? So like the movement is I can deal with the movement being 30 frames per second, but when the entire screen, the entire background is moving in that rate, that's a little nauseating. I think and even for me who's not that sensitive to it, it bugs me. So for other people who are really sensitive to it, I can see that bothering them. So if it bothers you, then I would definitely check it out on other platforms instead.
Good to note. Yeah. Perfect. Speaking of, I guess, exclusive games, kind of, we're seeing that, you know, PlayStation is doing this, Xbox is doing this, but like now it's like getting there, basically, that exclusive console games are no longer really a thing. How do you feel about this? Is it strange to you? Do you think this is a smart decision on the part of PlayStation and Xbox going separate from how Nintendo does their stuff?
Yeah. As you correctly point out, Nintendo is the only one that's going to be basically doing exclusive. Like you're not going to be seeing Mario or Donkey Kong Bonanza on PC or PlayStation anytime soon, you know?
Right.
Like that's not even within the realm of possibility. It's tough to say because, you know, these games are really the games that PlayStation and Xbox are making are very expensive. So they've been talking about trying to recoup costs elsewhere, you know. Even Jim Ryan, the former PlayStation president, was saying that as much years ago. He was telling me that years ago, for like 4 or 5 years ago, saying like, you know, our games sell well, but we need to milk more profitability out of our IP, and we need to explore other ways. That includes, you know, film, which of course PlayStation is doing a lot as well, and pushing a lot of games onto PC as well. For PlayStation, it's interesting because, well, it's weird for me because I'm 44 and I grew up with, you know, Sega and Nintendo and Atari, all of them having their exclusive content, and marketing their way in that. But then PlayStation came along, and PlayStation had exclusives, but they were third-party exclusives. You know, I hopped onto PlayStation because Final Fantasy VII was going to be on there. So it's not because it was a Sony game; it's because that's the only place Final Fantasy was going to be. So I bought it. So I don't know. As long as they're able to continue to make interesting offers, I think that they should still be able to. They should still be focused on making interesting, unique offers and projects that you can't really get anywhere else. You know, you're not going to see Stranger Things on HBO. You know,
right.
And yes, you know, video games are really the only entertainment platform where you have to buy a separate piece of hardware to buy into that. You know, so that makes it a little tricky. You know, it's why video games are unique and interesting, and sometimes, you know, there's no really one-to-one comparison to like music or film, but you know, but it gets people into your brand, and you know, it builds community around certain brands, and a lot of brands want to be able to build community. So it's tough, but I think as long as, you know, I don't see Astro Bot going on the Switch too, even though that'd be a perfect fit. Right?
That would be. Oh my god,
it'd be a great fit for Switch
playing
too.
That on the Switch. Yeah.
But like Astro Bot is so PlayStation centric that it would also be so weird, right? To have that. So I don't know, but we'll see. I you know, a lot of this conversation has been ticked off by this job opening that Sony had. Right. But I think a lot of the reaction to that has been a little overblown. I think whatever Sony has been doing, they're just going to continue to do it, where, you know, that they'll have exclusives for a year, or they might have, you know, just a small handful of exclusives for themselves. But they're really testing the waters and having, like, I absolutely see Horizon appearing on a Switch. Totally.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I actually do too. That's a really good point. Yeah. That's a good example. Let's switch over to, sadly, another game that has been controversial this past week, Mind's Eye. IO Interactive made it, or published it. IO is great. I love their games. But can you tell me about this game and why it's become so controversial? And why you had to write a piece about it, too?
Yeah, it became controversial because I wrote it like 2 months after release. It actually released in the first week of June, I believe.
It's been a while.
June 10th, yeah. But, as many people know, June was quite a busy month with Death Stranding and, just a lot going on, Summer Game Fest and everything like that too, right? So it's controversial because I gave it a 0.5 out of 4 stars. My lowest score ever. Probably the worst game I've ever played. And it's developed, published by IO Interactive, who are fantastic. I love the Hitman games. They're one of my favorite franchises of all time, right? And Mind's Eye is their first game with their IOI Partners program, developed by Build a Rocket Boy, a studio started around 2017, 2018 by former Rockstar North executive Leslie Benzies, who was ousted from Rockstar. They asked him to leave. They didn't want him back. and he sued Rockstar for untold amount of money. I'm not exactly sure whether that lawsuit was even resolved or not, but he decided to trade a lot of funding and marketing on his name as one of the 3 people who made GTA, Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 1. Interesting pedigree, and it got me interested too. So I bought it out of curiosity, and then when I started playing it, I was like, this isn't too bad. When you actually experience the game and play for several hours on end, you realize that there's fundamentally like no real game design there. There's no map to explore anything, so you never know where you're going. Every time you try to do anything even slightly off the beaten path, you get a game over screen. And you're not allowed to drive any other car other than this little text like coupe that you get. Okay. And when you go out into open world, there's no day and night cycle because they didn't do that, so you're stuck in night forever. And there's no missions or anything to do in the world. So
wow,
it's like the game is mocking you for finishing it.
Or it's almost like it's a satire. It's like, here, I'm going to make the worst game possible.
Yeah.
Here's
it's like
how to do it.
It's like the anti-reward, Oh my God. And then the story just ends in the worst cliffhanger ever. There's no resolution. Nothing is solved. There's no character arc. Only 2 bad guys die, it's crazy.
You keep adding stuff, and I'm just like, how can this get worse? And somehow it still does.
It does. I could talk about this game for hours, Naomi. So I'm just not going to. I'll spare you.
Thank you. Well, Gene, it's always so great having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you'll come on another episode in the future. I'm sorry you had to suffer through Mind's Eye, and hopefully you never have to play a game like that ever again.
That's okay. It's a good fall coming up. A lot of great games coming up. Ghost of Yotei, Ninja Gaiden 4, Kirby Air Riders, as I mentioned. Metroid Prime might be coming out. So it's a really, really great year for games. Mind's Eye just happens to be a huge blemish on it, but thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
Gene Park is a reporter for The Washington Post. You can follow him on Twitter at Gene Park.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle, and I had such an amazing time bringing you the news. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to my co-writer, Josh Seaman. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing by tagging me on social at Naomi Kyle. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a gaming-filled week. We'll see you same time next week. Thanks for listening. See ya.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.